bake. I'm using the whole wheat fusilli pasta for this, which is these lovely little spiral shapes, which are rather nice. I've already cooked those off according to the instructions, and I've used about 250 grams of that. Okay, we'll put that to one side. I've got here 750 grams of beef and pork mince, which is just ground pork and beef. To give it some super flavour, I've got a beef stock cube or gel cap in this case, and a chicken stock gel cap, a little bit of salt, about a teaspoon of salt, 4 cloves of garlic all chopped up. I've got some oregano or oregano according to what you want to call it, and I've got a whole chopped onion. Now I'm going to bring my pan up to heat and then we'll start cooking. You'll also need a bit of olive oil to cook it in. Okay, the other thing you'll need is something that will go in the oven to use as a baking tray. Whatever you think will suit the purpose. Casserole dish. I'm using this large cast iron thing, which is rather good. Right now I'm bringing my oil up to heat. I'll need a bit more. I need about a couple of tablespoons of oil. Ouch. And into that I want to straighten with my onions. And give that a stir. So there's about 3 tablespoons, maybe a little more of olive oil in there. The important thing is to get the onions in and cooking off. I don't want to introduce the garlic at this time, because the next thing that goes in there is my meat. At the same time I've got my oven coming up to heat at 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And you'll also need some cheese, some flour and some milk to make the bechamel sauce that goes on top, but we'll do that in a minute. Okay, once my onion starts to get translucent, I go in with my meat. And I really like to use this pork and beef mince in this, because it makes such a really nice flavour in the finished dish. But you can use all beef. I wouldn't use all pork, but I would use pork and beef mince combined. And if you're buying them separately, just use half and half. And then what we want to do now is keep that stirring and breaking it up until it all starts to colour. Alright. The other thing you'll need is some tomato passata. I'm using 500 grams of tomato passata in this dish. So what I'll do is I'll open that up and give it the snip. Keep that stirring. You want to get every little bit of that meat brown before we continue. Additional seasonings you'll need are salt and black pepper. I've already got a teaspoon of salt in there, but I'll need maybe a little bit of salt to adjust the flavouring, and I'll certainly need some black pepper. And another seasoning I like to use for this one is basil. I've got this rather impoverished looking basil plant, but it's still got some good leaves on it, so I'm going to use the last of those to add to this dish, and then throw that away, I think. And I'm cooking this on high heat to get all this cooked off and browned off. as I'm stirring it, I'm breaking up the lumps and smashing them down so that they get cooked. There's no shortcut to this. You need to do this first. You need to get this browned. Alright, my meat is now browned and sizzling. So into that I'm going to put my garlic. All my garlic. That's about 4 cloves of garlic. Don't mess around with garlic in Italian food. Just get it in there. And then all my passata. So that's 500 grams of passata goes in there. And all passata is sieved cut tomatoes. You can actually use a can of chopped tomatoes in this. And then what we're going to do is stir that all in. Get in your salt and your stock cubes. That one. And I like to use beef and chicken, as I said before, because it adds a depth of flavour to it. Okay, now some oregano, and I'm using about a teaspoon of oregano. That goes in. And most of you know how I feel about black pepper. And I want a heroic amount of black pepper in there. You put in as much as you want. It's your ragu. So you put in as much as you like. I like loads. To me, it's a defining flavour of this. And then we'll give that a stir. Let that cook for a few minutes. And then I want to come back and do a taste test before I proceed. Yum, that's bang on the money. Right, so I'll just let that cook for a minute or two longer. And I'm not from the school of thought that says you've got to let this cook for hours. That's nonsense to me. Once you've got the texture of the meat in the sauce right, there's no point in cooking it beyond the point to me. Alright, so I'm just going to pinch some of those basil leaves and throw them into it now. I love the smell of basil. It's a fabulous smell. And it's not just good with meat and Italian food, it's also great with eggs. And particularly good in a caprese salad. Italian caprese salad with tomatoes and mozzarella, and it's a fabulous flavour. To me, it's synonymous with Italian food. Alright, that's nice, but I actually wanted that a little bit more red than it is, so I'm going to use about a tablespoon of tomato paste. Let's just get that in there. Okay, so a generous tablespoon of tomato paste. I like to squeeze it from these tubes because it's really good. You're not wasting a tin if you only want a tablespoon of it. So I kind of like those. Put the lid back on, put it back in my fridge, and it'll do till next time. Okay, now I've got all that combined and mixed in nicely. I'm going to transfer it to my baking tray. In this case, it's a beautiful cast iron pot, which I'm going to transfer it to, and then I'll be adding my bechamel sauce on top as soon as that's cooked. Okay, that's got it transferred to the pot. The next thing we need to do is make the bechamel sauce. Okay, into my saucepan. I've got this on medium heat. I want about a tablespoon of olive oil and a little bit, about a tablespoon of butter. Get that in, get it moving. And into that I want 2 tablespoons of flour, and that's ordinary all-purpose flour. Get it in, get it stirred around. Try not to make as much mess as I've made. If you can hear a noise in the background, that's my gardener cutting the lawn. And then we need to introduce some milk to that. So you want to put in about 1/4 pint to start with, stir it all in. Get that stirred in nicely, and then switch to a whisk as it starts to thicken. And you'll see that now, it really starts to thicken, and as it starts to thicken, you can gauge how thick it's going to be. You don't want it too thick, so you can add a bit more milk at that stage until you've got it to the thickness of pouring cream. You want it about the thickness of pouring cream. And allow that to come up to heat again. And the important thing is to keep it moving so it doesn't form lumps. You don't want lumps. Lumps is not good. Remember to keep that stirring. Now if it starts to thicken up too much, you need to add a bit of water at this stage. You don't want it too milky. So just add a bit of water and stir that in well. Remember, you want it to be about the thickness of pouring cream, of heavy cream. And keep that moving. Whisking it keeps it silky. So it's starting to look good to me. Maybe a little bit more water. It's getting that consistency right. That's the trick. And turn the heat up a little bit, get that up quicker. What you don't want is for it to be forming lumps and clumps in there. You want it to be a smooth but thick liquid. And at this stage you introduce a cup of grated cheese. I'm using mild cheddar, which is rather good for this one. But use whatever cheese you like. I don't have access to fancy Italian cheese at this moment, so I'm using what I have to hand. And I find in the finished results, cheddar is amazing. It's such a versatile cheese. And you stir that in now to mix it so that the lumps of cheddar, of grated cheddar, start to disappear. Again, check for consistency. You need it quite thick, but you don't. You want it to be tracing on top like that as a drawer. It traces on top. Quite a thick trace. But you also want all the cheese mixed in with the sauce. And if you find it's getting too thick, just add a little bit more water. So I'm just going to have a quick taste of that now. That's right there, a bit of salt in that, I think. Another taste with a fresh spoon. Yeah, that's right there. That's good. If you like it more cheesy, add more cheese. It's up to you. Or add a different kind of cheese as well, like Parmesan or something like that. Okay, once you've got it to that, the trick now is turn the heat off, and then what we do is we pour that evenly over our pasta dish. Okay, so there it is, with the bechamel sauce on top of the pasta. And then what I want to do is just move the sauce around on top to make sure it covers all the pasta. And then we take that whole thing, place it in the oven at 200 degrees, 400 degrees Celsius for around about 20 minutes. Or until the surface browns, but you'll see that in a sec. So there it is, that's how it looks. I'm just going to let that cool down now before I start serving it up. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to follow my channel, please subscribe and be sure to click the bell icon to receive notification of all my upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.